Hey everybody, David here, and today I want to talk about Hawkeye Episode 3 Echoes. And yeah, this was another great episode in my opinion. I'm really liking Hawkeye a lot so far. And yes, I continue to like this dynamic between Haley Steinfeld and Jeremy Renner, mentor and protege. I think that's the right word. Or apprentice type of relationship. I really like the interaction between the two, and we had some really great moments with these two characters, as well as getting to know a little bit about this Maya Lopez character who was introduced at the end of the last episode. I didn't know who she was, but she is a character in the comics also known as Echo, who has very strong ties to the Kingpin, which we might have gotten our first look at in this episode because we start off with this flashback. At first, I was saying, "Oh, 1997. Is that Kate Bishop when she was even younger? She was a chubby kid back then, a little bit, not too much. I shouldn't say that word, but I was just realizing the Kate that we knew, but she couldn't be that young in 2007 because she would have been like a baby or something. She would have just been born, maybe. I don't know, because in 2012 she looked roughly almost the same age, maybe a little bit younger. I don't know, but yeah, we get to see echoes. Maya Lopez's flashbacks to how she became where she was at and why she hates Ronan, because she did see Ronan slaughtering a lot of her father's men as well as her father himself, who seemed like a genuinely good guy. I'm surprised he was in the criminal empire realm, but clearly he has a brother or somehow related, because he mentions an uncle, and we do see this uncle very briefly, but we don't see his face. But this man clearly looks a little large in size, and I think we even hear him chuckle. And I wonder if that voice was who we want to believe it is. Clearly, that's the uncle, because he's later mentioned again in the present day that he's still around and that he would be angry to find out that they're making too much noise in the criminal underworld. So, with the Kingpin connection in the comics, I think it's pretty obvious who this is going to turn out to be. Wilson Fisk. And there have been rumors that Vincent D'Onofrio might be popping up in this show from the Daredevil series. And if that's true, we definitely know that Charlie Cox is popping in Spider-Man No Way Home this December. I wouldn't be surprised if in the fifth episode, the second last episode of the series, that's when he's revealed. Because that episode comes out the same week Spider-Man No Way Home comes out in the US, or in North America and Canada too. So I'm going to presume that episode 5 we will see Wilson Fisk. That's my prediction. That's who her uncle is going to turn out to be. Yeah, so I'm really liking this Maya Lopez character. Seeing her background made me sympathize with her, obviously. She wants to get Ronan and find out who Ronan is. She's already on to Clint. I think she's done with Kate Bishop. She realizes, okay, this kid is clearly not Ronan, so it has to be Clint or someone connected to him, because Clint tried using Black Widow to throw her off. So they escape eventually, Clint and Kate. Clint finds a way to get out of the tape that they had on his hands. I mean, come on, guys. This is Hawkeye. What are you doing? So I love the Tracksuit Mafia, by the way. I think they are hilarious, and because of how dumb they are. Although one of them isn't dumb. One of them actually has brains and communicates better with Echo, who clearly, I guess, is going to be her right hand man in all of this. So Clint and Kate escape, and when they get back to this apartment, I think it was Kate's aunt's apartment from last week, someone calls Clint because Echo destroyed his hearing aid, so he can't hear very well. By the way, we see that scene where they're in the car fighting off the bad guys, which was so much fun. I like seeing the different trick arrows that Kate was using, because they altered it a lot from the preview that they did on Disney Plus Day. They edited out a lot that was missing, and it was a nice surprise. The Play-Doh arrow, the one with the lights and all that. It was all cool. It was all cool. And then we get to the apartment where, Clint gets a phone call, and there was a really nice conversation. At first, he thinks it's his wife, but then Kate helps him by writing on a sheet of paper that it's a little boy, and Clint right away realizes that it's Nathaniel, his youngest son, and he's having this conversation, and you feel the weight of this scene. It was a little emotional, and I was getting a little teary-eyed because I felt bad for Clint. He wants to be there for Christmas. His youngest son is clearly losing hope that his dad might make it on time for Christmas. We all know that Clint's going to be there on time. Let's face it. But, it was a really nice emotional moment, and I'm glad we got that out of this episode. I think it was a great moment, and seeing Kate help him with that was really cool. It was the most emotional moment, I think, we ever had with Clint. I guess Endgame gave us the moment where his family disappeared, and we felt that moment too. But because he was sharing time with all those other characters, it didn't really give us enough time to stay with Clint and feel what he was going through. I felt this scene alone gave us so much great emotion with Clint that I think I connected to that moment. I felt him in that moment, how he was probably feeling. And then they decide to do more discoveries. They go and get the hearing aid fixed. Lucky, or I shouldn't call him Lucky yet because they didn't call him that, but the dog, Clint says, you better give this dog a name because you can't just keep calling him a dog. And I love when she was coming up with the names, when Kate was coming up with the names. The dog was like, and then when she says pizza dog, finally she comes up with the name Pizza Dog. The dog smiles and is like all happy. And I love that dog, man. And I know in the comics the dog's name is Lucky, the pizza dog. So we're getting there. Somehow he's going to get Lucky in there. Maybe there's going to be a close call and they're going to say, oh man, you're one lucky dog. And I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. And then he gets the name Lucky officially. We'll see. And then they go to Kate's mom's house or Jack's house. I forgot. And both of their houses, since I guess they'll be living there together. They go there and do some investigating because they need to find out who murdered Armand from the previous 2 episodes. And Kate starts believing that it's Jack. Somehow he's connected to this because in the last episode she's got some clues already. Clint hears something, so he goes searching around the house to see it. And who do we see? Jack comes up and surprises him with a sword towards Clint's neck. So we end the episode there, and I'm like, oh, come on. I hate when episodes end like that because I want to see more. And that's the whole point, I guess, of doing stuff like that, ending the show that way. So now we have to wait next week for the next episode. Like I said, I really love this episode. I thought maybe the best one so far, maybe. For me, anyways, I really like the action. The action is great. I really like, again, Kate and Clint's relationship. I still don't know how I feel about Jack being the bad guy because he's too obvious of a bad guy for me. So I'm curious on how he's going to factor into this. I guess we're going to find out next week what his role is in all of this. And then there's also Echo. I really love this character so far. So she's on a roll for me. And I'm looking forward to seeing where she ends up. And I'm looking forward to seeing her uncle. We're gonna call him Fisk. Uncle Fisk is going to be joining this series soon, and we're gonna see probably him looking a little familiar from another Marvel series. So we'll see what happens. With that being said, guys, comment below and tell me your thoughts on this episode. What did you think of it? And are you still enjoying this show like I am? I'm very curious to know. And with that being said, I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe to my channel, especially if you're a huge fan of all this superhero stuff, whether it's Marvel or DC, or even other things like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Wars. I love all of that stuff. I am one of the biggest nerds of all time. So with that being said, like this video. Well, I already said it. So let's end this with saying, until next time, everybody, take care.